Scorpio, this face-to-face conversation you've been dreading or dreaming about. It is finally happening. The silence is breaking and the universe is forcing them to look you in the eyes. But here is the twist they aren't expecting. They are going to break first. The mask is slipping and the raw, unfiltered truth that spills out in this meeting is going to shatter everything they thought they knew about their own feelings. They thought they could control this narrative, but your energy has completely rewritten it. Before we reveal the exact words they are rehearsing in their head, tell me where you are watching from in the comments. If you are ready to claim this massive shift, hit that like button and subscribe to the family. Let's get into it. Scorpio, the energy right now is incredibly thick. You can feel it, can't you? It's that heavy, magnetic pull in your chest that tells you something massive is shifting behind the scenes. This does not feel random. For weeks, maybe even months, there has been this heavy silence or this chaotic push and pull dynamic, and you've been sitting in the unknown, wondering when the other shoe is going to drop. Well, the shoe just dropped. The universe is literally clearing the path for a face-to-face conversation that is going to change everything. What I'm picking up on is that this person has been avoiding this moment at all costs, but the spiritual pressure is now too high. They can't run anymore. But here is the crazy part. They aren't just avoiding the conversation because they are angry or detached. They're avoiding it because they are absolutely terrified of how much they actually feel when they are in your physical presence. Let's talk about why this person simply cannot let go of you, even when they act like they can. Here's the thing. You have this profound, almost intimidating depth to your energy. When they look at you, they don't just see a person, they see a mirror. And Scorpio, you reflect back everything they are trying to hide from themselves. They thought they could just walk away, or keep things casual, or put you in a little box in their mind to deal with later. But the box is on fire. The truth is, every time they try to convince themselves that they are over you, they end up stalking your energy, checking your aura, or just feeling this intense, gnawing emptiness in their gut. They aren't moving on. They are just exhausting themselves trying to outrun a soul tie that is literally woven into their spirit. This brings us to their inner conflict, because this is where the real drama is happening. On the surface, they might have played it cool. They might have said things to protect their ego, or they might have pulled away to maintain this illusion of control. But underneath that surface, it is pure chaos. They are battling their own pride. They are wrestling with this intense fear of vulnerability. With you, they can't use their usual tricks. They can't manipulate the narrative because you see right through the bullshit. And that is exactly what drives them crazy. They are realizing that their emotional immaturity and their defense mechanisms are completely useless against the kind of profound connection you share. The more they try to build a wall, the more they realize you are already inside the fortress. What you awakened in them is something they didn't know existed. It's this raw, unfiltered craving for emotional truth. They're used to surface-level connections, but with you, it's like they've been starving their whole life and you just served them a feast. They're obsessed with your intuition, your power, and the way you hold your boundaries. You might be experiencing some physical symptoms right now yourself. Ringing in the ears, sudden temperature changes, or just a feeling of butterflies mixed with anxiety, because their energy is reaching out to yours so aggressively. But here is the painful realization hitting them right now. They know they messed up. They know they didn't handle your energy the way they should have, and the regret is eating them alive. They are rehearsing this face-to-face conversation in their head over and over again, trying to figure out how to say the things they were too scared to say before. The silence is deafening for them, and the only cure is looking you in the eyes. I'm seeing a lot of water energy here, which makes perfect sense for your sign, but they are drowning in it. They feel this intense jealousy too. Not just the petty kind, but this deep, existential jealousy of anyone who gets to experience the real you while they are standing on the outside looking in. They know that your loyalty is not something you just hand out to anyone, and once you give it, it is rare and fiercely protected. They are watching you glow up, watching you move forward, and it is triggering this massive sense of urgency. They realize that if they don't step up and have this conversation, they are going to lose you to someone who isn't afraid of your depth. The clock is ticking in their mind, and the spiritual timing is forcing their hand. They can feel the window of opportunity closing, and panic is setting in. So, as we move toward this inevitable meeting, I need you to understand the gravity of what is about to happen. This isn't just a casual catch-up. This is a karmic clearing. The universe has orchestrated this face-to-face moment because there are things that cannot be said over text. There is energy that needs to be transferred, eye contact that needs to be made, and truths that need to be spoken into the physical realm. They are going to walk into this conversation carrying a heavy heart, but they are also walking in with a surrendered spirit. The fight is over. They are done pretending. And when they finally look at you, you're going to see the exact moment their ego breaks and their true feelings take over. Scorpio, let's talk about the exact moment the dynamic shifted, because something fundamentally changed in their reality. For a while, they convinced themselves that distance was what they needed. They told themselves that space would bring clarity, that stepping back would help them cool off and regain their sense of control. But here is the twist. The distance didn't bring them peace. It brought them to their knees. What I'm picking up on is that the silence you gave them, whether it was intentional on your part or just a natural result of you protecting your energy, became the loudest thing in their life. They thought they could handle the quiet, but every time they reached for their phone to send a meaningless text, they stopped. They realized that if they reached out without having the real, raw conversation, you would see right through it. And they're absolutely terrified of being seen as superficial by you. And then there was the shift in your energy. You know that moment when you finally said, "Enough is enough," and you pulled your focus back onto yourself? That energetic withdrawal hit them like a physical blow. Here's the thing about your sign. When you detach, you don't just become distant. You become incredibly magnetic. You stopped chasing, you stopped over-explaining, and you started glowing. They saw it. Maybe it was a subtle change in your social media. Maybe it was a mutual friend mentioning how great you're doing, or maybe they just felt the energetic cord snap and rewire itself. But they saw you stepping into your power, and it triggered a massive loss of control on their end. The realization that you are perfectly capable of living a beautiful, fulfilled life without them is what completely broke their ego. They went from feeling like they were the one holding the cards to realizing they are completely at the mercy of your energy. So, what do they actually feel right now? It's no longer just a fleeting thought or a moment of nostalgia. What I'm picking up on is a profound, almost painful level of longing. They are carrying a heavy chest, a literal physical ache when they think about the last time they saw you. They are replaying every interaction, analyzing every word you said, and kicking themselves for the moments they let their pride get in the way. The feelings they have for you have crossed the threshold from "I miss this" to "I need this." They are craving your depth, your loyalty, and that intense, unspoken understanding that only the two of you share. They are sitting with this massive, unsaid apology. It's right there on the tip of their tongue, but they are terrified that when they finally say it, you might not be ready to hear it. But the universe isn't letting them sit in this regret quietly. The spiritual timing is forcing their hand. For some of you, this person has been seeing intense synchronicities, 1111, 222, or maybe even the Eight of Cups energy reversing in their life. They are looking for signs from the universe, begging for a green light, because they feel this divine pressure pushing them toward you. They know, on a soul level, that this connection is karmic. They know that walking away from you means walking away from a piece of their own spiritual evolution. The universe is literally orchestrating this face-to-face meeting because there are karmic lessons that can only be learned in person. The digital world, the texts, the phone calls, none of it is enough to clear the air. The energy between you two requires physical proximity to reset. This is why the face-to-face conversation is not just a possibility, it is an inevitability. They need to look into your eyes to gauge the truth. They need to see if the warmth is still there, or if you've built a wall they can't climb. And here is the most vulnerable truth I'm getting. They are going into this meeting completely stripped of their usual defenses. They aren't coming to play games. They aren't coming to test the waters. They are coming to surrender. They know that if they don't lay their cards on the table right now, they will lose the greatest thing that ever happened to them. The fear of losing you has finally eclipsed the fear of being vulnerable. They're preparing their heart, bracing for your reaction, and getting ready to say the things they should have said months ago. But Scorpio, right before this massive breakthrough, there is a layer of static we have to address. The universe rarely gives us a smooth path to our deepest desires, and this connection is no exception. What I'm picking up on is that there has been some outside interference, some external noise trying to muddy the waters of this face-to-face meeting. For some of you, this shows up as gossip, unsolicited opinions from friends or family who don't understand the depth of what you share. They look at this connection from the outside and try to label it as too intense or complicated, completely blind to the profound spiritual tether that binds you two together. This person has been hearing this noise, and it has been feeding their existing insecurities, making them second-guess their own feelings. For others, this outside energy manifests as a distraction. A third party, a rebound, or just someone they tried to use to fill the void you left behind. But here is the absolute truth about that. It is completely hollow. They might have tried to convince themselves that this new person or this new situation was what they wanted, but the moment they are alone, the illusion shatters. They are comparing everyone to you, and everyone is falling painfully short. The outside energy is merely a band-aid on a bullet wound, and they know it. They are realizing that trying to replace your intense, transformative energy with something superficial is like trying to put out a forest fire with a paper cup. It's not working, and the cognitive dissonance is driving them absolutely crazy. And then there is their own internal sabotage, which is perhaps the most dangerous complication of all. As this face-to-face conversation gets closer, their old wounds are screaming at them to retreat. Their ego is putting up one last, desperate defense. They're asking themselves, what if I lay my heart bare and they look at me with cold, detached eyes? What if I apologize and they tell me it's too late? This fear of final rejection is paralyzing them. They are terrified that the bridge is already burned, that you have already closed the door and locked it for good. This is why they might seem hot and cold right up until the very last second. It's not that they don't want to see you. It's that they are bracing for the impact of their own accountability. But Scorpio, your intuition has known this all along, hasn't it? You have felt this friction. You have sensed the hesitation, the mixed signals, the energetic push and pull that has been exhausting your spirit. You knew something was off, and you were absolutely right. But here is the thing about your sign. You do not beg for clarity. You observe. You wait. And in your silence, you have forced them to confront the reality of their own actions. You didn't chase the distraction. You didn't lower your standards to compete with outside noise. You held your ground, and that unwavering self-respect is exactly what is pulling them back to you now. They are realizing that the only place they can find true peace is in the truth with you. The universe is actively dismantling these complications. I am seeing the outside influences fading into the background, losing their power. The gossip is dying down, the distractions are falling away, and the karmic consequences of their avoidance are catching up to them. They are being stripped of their excuses. The spiritual timing is aligning in such a way that there is no more room for hiding. The board is being cleared. This face-to-face conversation is the final exam, and they know that if they try to bring any of this outside baggage or half-truths into the room with you, you will see right through it. And they cannot afford to be seen through and rejected. They need to be seen and accepted. So, as we stand on the precipice of this meeting, the tension is at its absolute peak. The complications have done their job, they have tested the strength of this bond, and remarkably, the bond has held. The friction has only polished the diamond. They are walking through the fire of their own mistakes, shedding their pride, and stepping into this conversation with a level of raw honesty they have never shown anyone else. They are ready to speak their truth, but the question remains, how will you receive it? The power in this dynamic has completely shifted into your hands, Scorpio. Scorpio, let's talk about exactly how this face-to-face conversation is going to unfold, because the universe is not leaving this to chance. This is not going to be a casual coffee catch-up where you talk about the weather and pretend everything is fine. No, the energy surrounding this meeting is far too heavy, far too significant for small talk. What I'm picking up on is that they're going to initiate this. They're the ones who are going to reach out, set the time, and create the space for this to happen. And when you finally sit across from them, the very first thing you are going to notice is how different they look. The arrogance, the defensive posture, the illusion of control, it's all going to be gone. In its place, you're going to see someone who looks incredibly vulnerable, almost relieved just to be in your physical presence again. Here's the thing about this meeting. The tension in the first 5 minutes is going to be palpable. They might try to start with a gentle joke or a soft greeting, but it's going to fall flat because the energetic cord between you two is pulling too hard. They won't be able to sustain the facade. And then it happens. The mask completely drops. They're going to look you dead in the eyes, and you are going to see the exact moment their heart breaks open. They are going to confess everything. They will admit that the distance was a mistake. They will admit that they tried to convince themselves they didn't need you, and they were wrong. For some of you, this confession is going to include a deeply emotional apology for the way they handled things in the past, for the times they pulled away when they should have stepped up, and for the pain they caused you by being emotionally unavailable. But it doesn't stop at just an apology. The universe is pushing them to make a definitive offer. They are going to lay their cards on the table and tell you exactly what they want. They aren't coming to you for a casual fling or to keep you on the back burner. They are coming to you because they have realized that your energy is the only thing that makes them feel truly alive. They're going to ask for a real commitment. They're going to ask for the chance to do this right, to build something solid, and to prove to you that they have done the inner work. The karmic exposure of their past mistakes is clearing the air, making way for a genuine, grounded reconciliation. They're surrendering their pride at your feet, and they are asking you to let them back in. Now, Scorpio, this brings us to the most crucial part of this entire reading, your guidance and how you must handle this massive shift. When they finally break down and give you this raw, unfiltered confession, your instinct as a Scorpio is going to be to either completely shut them out or to immediately melt and forgive them. But I need you to pause. You must stay grounded in your own power. Do not rush to fix their feelings or absorb their emotional overwhelm. You have carried the weight of this connection for long enough. Let them carry the weight of this reconciliation. When they speak their truth, listen to it, but do not give them your answer right then and there. Tell them you hear them. Tell them you need time to process it. Here is the thing, you're the gatekeeper to your own life now. You do not need to chase this outcome because you have already attracted it. Your job now is to protect your energy and observe their actions. Words are easy, especially when the emotional pressure is this high. You need to see if their energy matches their confession in the days and weeks that follow. Trust your intuition. If something feels off, if their actions don't align with their grand promises, your intuition will flag it immediately. Stay in your sovereign power. You are the prize here. You are the one who held the line, who maintained their boundaries, and who refused to settle for breadcrumbs. They're coming back to you because you proved your worth by not accepting anything less. As this beautiful, intense cycle comes to a close and a new chapter begins, I want you to remember that you are deeply loved, deeply seen, and spiritually protected. The universe has orchestrated this reunion to bring you the emotional truth you have been craving. Step into this next phase with an open heart, but keep your boundaries fiercely intact. Let them prove their devotion to you. You have done the hard work. Now it is their turn to show up and do the heavy lifting. Take what resonates with your spirit today and leave the rest. Thank you so much for sharing your energy with me, for trusting this space, and for allowing me to guide you through this profound shift. If this reading spoke to your soul, please like this video, subscribe to the channel, and share it with someone who needs to hear this message. I love you, I appreciate you, and I will see you in the next reading. Stay magical, Scorpio.